Welcome back to another episode. Let's recap who we've learnt about. So Albertina left Germany in 1871 and arrived in Australia in 1872. Rudolph left Germany in 1873. So Albertina and Rudolph somewhere met in Australia and built their life together in Maryborough. Now they had a son, Richard. Richard met Rose, married, and they built their life together at Darlinil. Now Rose's parents, Charles and Anne, they left England in 1883. They came across to Australia, stopped in Redland Bay, and then moved up to Darlinil and made a dairy farm, and that's where they raised their family. In 2020, the Pioneers Walk and Hall of Fame at Beers Park Biggin was open. It shares the story of 72 settlers and pioneer families, honouring their contribution to the North Burnett region. Both Charles and Anne and Richard Rose are on the wall. Our ancestors are more than names on paper. They are the interesting stories that shows us lives once lived. From cows to sugarcane, from convicts to the Anzacs. This is my journey. Come along with me, discovering stories of ancestry, facts, and life. My story worth living. Thanks for joining me again today. Let me introduce to you William Charles Jacobi. So he's my grandfather, and he was born on the 6th of May 1920 to Richard and Rose in Childers. Now we know Richard and Rose moved out to the Darlinil and had a dairy farm. I'm sure William would have been expected to help on the farm as he grew up. We also know he was part of the Darlinil State School, the same as Rose, his mother. But I did find records of Rose's corporate punishment for not knowing her spelling, which was ridiculous. But I haven't been able to find anything for William. So whether they stopped their corporal punishment or he was just a very good boy and learnt and listened, who knows? In 1942, at the age of 22, William enlisted in the RAAF, the Royal Australian Air Force. And in December 1942, No. 6 Squadron construction of the airfields was formed, with William and a number of different fellows being part of the No. 6 Squadron sent over to Kerawina, Papua New Guinea, to build airstrips just like this one behind me. During the 3 years No. 6 Squadron was based at Kerawina, Papua New Guinea, they constructed 2 airfields. Also during that time, William contracted malaria. However, he did stay on to fulfill his role in No. 6 Squadron. William was given the title or the rank of leading aircraftman. Then in December 1945, with the war concluding, No. 6 Squadron was disbanded. Then on the 11th of January 1946, William was discharged from the RAAF and made his way back to Biggin. In 1954, the Australian Queensland census shows William at aged 34, living in Bigoton. He owned and operated a mechanic's workshop, possibly similar to the one shown. Check out these old cars. I wonder if he actually worked on any of these. Meet Yvonne Zeta Brooks. Now, she was born on the 6th of September 1938, and she was adopted out either as a baby or a young child. We don't know. There's not too many records. In the Australian census and voting registers, though, I can track back that she lived at Burnett, North Burnett, Childers, Wide Bay area, and Bigoton. But other than that, there's not much. She's obviously lived a full life, but it's not documented. Sometimes it's easier to find information about people a century ago than just in this past few decades. Yvonne and Bill, or William, they were married on the 10th of December 1955. Bill was 35 and Yvonne only 17. And then a year later, their first child, a girl, was born in 1956. Today I'm just going to call her DJ just by her initials. But it explains because DJ is my biological mother. So her mother was only 18. She married at 17. It kind of helps me understand a little bit what was going through their minds when I was adopted out. So DJ had me. She was sent away from home and then had me, and then she returned to her life. But more about that later. Yvonne and William had 3 more children in Bigoton. Sadly, William passed away at the age of 77 in June 1997. I didn't know any of this information or the family, so sadly I never got to meet him. Yvonne lived another 25 years, and she died in May in 2022 in a nursing home in Bundaberg. So sadly I never got to meet her, but there's a little bit of a sneaking feeling she probably would not have met me, and we might just unpack that story at another date.